Oh, hello. I've got quite a few things I need to catch up with. There's been a lot going on with Lively and Baldoni, which is what I've obviously dealt with mainly. I've moved on to dealing with UK issues because it is getting so ridiculous here now that people like myself who normally don't want to, you know, talk on things about that are political or religious. Um, we're now having to sit and actually come out and go, "Do you know what? This is crap. This is just ridiculous now." And we are having to come out now. I'm having to come out and talk on things that normally I would not like to, or I'll leave to someone else. Um, but here we are. So I've been doing. I did a bit on the Maccabi Tel Aviv football ban. I've done a few videos so far on the grooming gang up to and including the fourth survivor um, withdrawing. So I know there's a few more things that have happened there. I need to do a more updated video on all of that. I also wanted to do something on the controversy of our national flags, and I want to do some put together something on the laws and the online speech issues, all the arrests for tweets, etc., um, and just how bad things are getting here. So there's a lot to do. Still, I'm going to what I wanted to do this one though. This is the Peacehaven Mosque, and £10 million of money that the UK just does not have. It does not have. Like the NHS is, crippled, and the cost of living is dire. People are in a really bad place here, and we do not have £10 million of additional funding because we're already giving them a bunch of money. So now this is £10 million more to provide the Muslim community the protection they need and deserve. Right? Okay. So we're going to pull this apart, and then we're going to look at the hypocrisy around this. Um, I will just say as well, Keir Starmer uses these words: attacks on any community are attacks on our entire nation, any community, right? So remember that, bear that in mind as we kind of navigate this. This is the actual police notification of that said attack. Man 43 charged with attempted arson. A 43-year-old man has been charged in connection with an attempted arson at the mosque in Headlands, Kettering. Now, this is on the 7th of October. Arif Ali Rafiq, a British-born Asian man of Harlestone Road, Northampton, has been charged with attempted arson with intent to endanger life. That is the actual attack that Keir Starmer is referring to here, deems horrific, right? And he is given £10 million additional funding to the Muslim community to protect themselves from this as a result of this attack. And Lozzie B sums up my thoughts beautifully. Middle Eastern man Arif Ali Rafiq attacks a mosque in Britain, so the British government gives Muslims £10 million of British taxpayer money to protect Muslims from other Muslims. What the actual fuck? Exactly. 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 It is so frustrating, like this kind of response. We also have the mosque very helpfully has a Ring doorbell, and we have footage of it, of the actual attack. So let's have a look at how horrific this was. So that was the attack on the mosque. It wasn't even in the mosque, it wasn't on the mosque itself. It was a car outside. And there has been, I can't say for sure this is the case, but there are widespread um, comments being passed around that this was even an insurance job. The damage to the mosque is not actually that bad at all. But apparently, the Muslim community now needs to protect itself, even though that this attack was carried out by a Muslim man. I can't even make sense of that. Um, so here we are. Let's remember now. So if we put aside this religious quote unquote attack, as remember what Keir Starmer said: an attack on any community. And obviously, on the day of Yom Kippur, um, there was 2 people killed at a synagogue in Manchester, in UK. And they were killed by a Muslim man. So has Keir Starmer gone to the Jewish community and offered an additional £10 million of funding for the Jewish community to protect itself? Well, the answer is a resounding no. What happened there, the response we had there to the Jewish community, to the Israeli community, was despicable, personally. Aston Villa is obviously a football club. It's in Birmingham, which is largely populated by Muslim community. So, and we have a club statement from Aston Villa. Aston Villa can confirm the club has been informed that no away fans may attend the UEFA Europa League match with Maccabi Tel Aviv on Thursday, November 6th. So the response to the attack on the Jewish community, where people actually died, by the way, as opposed to the Peacehaven Mosque, was to say, you cannot travel to this country to support your football team in an away game in Birmingham against Aston Villa. And it is literally for this reason. There are safety concerns, and the police are unable to guarantee the safety of these fans. Why don't they just give them the 10 million that they're, additional funding that they're about to hand to the Muslim community? Surely that would go some way to putting in the resources that would be needed to protect fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv. Why are we saying to these people, don't come to our country because we can't protect you? I find that really disgraceful, because here we have 2 attacks on places of worship, right? One of them, loosely on places of worship. Both were actually committed by a member of the Muslim community. And yet the Jewish community, who, arguably suffered far more with their attack, are being told we can't protect you, whilst we are handing over an additional £10 million that the country is having to search under its sofa for, to the Muslim community to say, here, you need to protect yourself. Even though that attack was barely an attack and it was done by a member of the Muslim community. I cannot make sense of this. And this is why people are getting so angry, so pissed off, because the double standard is horrific. Why are we doing this? I don't understand. And this is becoming not a nice place to live. So, um, I'm going to just quickly sum up, right? The British Patriot, I like the British Patriot. They say they spell it out for you. A foreign Muslim attacks a singular mosque equals £10 million in security. An Islamist kills 2 Jews on Yom Kippur equals a ban on Jews from football matches. Labour have been covering up decades of Muslims raping British children as young as 8. Why do Muslims get special treatment? And that is the question now. I've always been, it's not that bad. No, this is actually that bad. This is an awful situation where British citizens are being made to feel unwelcome in their own and unsafe in their own country, and you are protected as a religious community as long as you are a Muslim. If you are Jewish, if you're a Christian, you don't get that protection. It is shameful and it's disgraceful, and it's obviously at the root as well. The same issues are at the root of all the other things that need to be talked about. When I said, "Oh, I'm going to need to do something on the controversy surrounding flags," that is because there is a controversy because Muslim people find it offensive predominantly, and then the woke who I don't even know why they what their issue is, but I'm not going to speculate. The woke support this. The speech laws are predominantly around not being able to say things that may offend Muslim communities. There are other communities like transgender and so on and so forth, but a lot of it is actually Muslim communities. The rape survivors themselves who have just resigned from the inquiry, one of the key things that they all said, and they were all in concert with each other on, was the fact that they could not simply state the ethnicity of their attackers. It was considered offensive. And when we're in a world where we cannot be factual, that is a ridiculous world. And things will stop working. Society won't be able to function like that. And when we have a prime minister who is handing out additional money, large sums of money, to protect a community when the perpetrator was from inside that community, you have to question what is going on here. Why is this happening? And why was there no support put in place for the Jewish community after the attack on the synagogue? I will leave it there for now. It's just something to think about, but this is shit that you can't make up, and it's actually happening in Britain today. I'm ashamed.